Hey there, beautiful beings. My name is Tara. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching. I want to talk quickly today about presence, and it's something we hear about a lot, right? Stay present, be in the moment, be here now, all these things we've heard, our whole life. Well, a lot of us have heard these things, and it's so simple, and we tend to, I've talked about this before, we tend to dismiss things that seem really simple and that aren't complex, and because the mind wants to make it complex, the ego mind wants to make everything complex because we've been conditioned to believe that that is where the value is, right? And working really hard and spending a lot of time doing something. And I'm not saying these things can't be valuable. However, when you are in the past or in the present, you are not here. And the things that you want, all the things that you want, joy, peace, love, feeling the love, right? Just feeling the love in your system, in your body, for yourself, for others, all of that, that only exists right here. When you're in the past or the future, there is no peace, right? You can have a memory that brings you joy. That's really sweet. I'm not saying don't ever go to a memory and experience that, but go and experience that and then come back to the moment, to right here, right? Because, and I'll get to how this is helpful on the sovereignty journey too, because that can get really overwhelming and just be a lot of information to take in, especially in the beginning. It's learning a new skill, it's learning a new language, it's learning the untruths, it's unlearning a lot. And then it's unlearning everything you've been taught to be true, right? About the system and how it works, and the role that you play within it, or you didn't know you had a choice, but you do. So learning that, oh, I have a choice in how I do this. So having the availability to come back into the moment, to know, okay, what is it right now that my soul feels to take action on? You can get an actual impulse from your own soul, which has materiality. It does. There is a binary impulse, and I learned a lot from my Indian sister Maharishka and using some of this language, because in my practices, spiritual practices over the years, there's a lot of non-duality teachings and sort of disconnecting, if you will, from the human experience so that you can witness it coming from a witness perspective, but it separates you from it, right? There's a disconnect. So then you're not actually engaged in it. There's a different kind of presence there. And I'm not saying that's bad or wrong, but if you really want to be, we're here in these human bodies for a reason. So if you really want to get the most out of it and be able to really experience the sweetness of true, like, joy and love, like coming from here, then it's being here in this body, in this moment, and allowing all the experiences, right? But when you're in the moment, then you get to go, what is it that my soul is impulsing me? Not the ego mind that's going to tell me something based on my conditioning. That's always fear-based, almost always fear-based. So if it feels icky or not great, or that like there's fear, that's not your soul. Your soul doesn't feel any of those things because it's perfection, right? It's ultimately, after this body goes, it's what's left of you, right? And goes on and on and on and on for all eternity. So it's doesn't have any of those loud opinions and things like that, but it will impulse you in the right direction. So when you're going through this sovereignty journey, there can be a lot of action steps that you want to take. And I suggest writing all of them down. What is it that you want to do? Okay, first, I think I'm going to do this because I'm going to correct my status. And then I'm going to revoke my election for taxes. And then I'm going to write my letter to, XYZ. And then I'm going to, all these things you don't have to do, but things that you may want to do. Then I'm going to get my passport, and then you have it, and then you can, because we need to take time to plan something, right? That's totally valid. And then you put it over here and you let it go. Okay, what's on my list? Okay, that thing. All right, I'm going to be in the moment now, because because you tell yourself you can get spinny about all these things, just like anything in life, and it takes you out of the moment, and you're worried and you're in fear, and oh my gosh, is this, people say all the time, especially with revoking election to pay taxes, oh my gosh, they're going to take me to jail, or I'm going to go to jail, or whatever. And you're already in jail. You're already in prison if you're going along with, this system and all its trappings. You're already walking around thinking you're free. And you might be in a lot of ways, especially if you're in the moment. So that's just a little side note there. But coming back here, you can always check in. Okay, is this the right move, or is this the right move? And just check in with yourself here and not here. If it's loud and insistent and opinionated and all of that, it's the lie. It's not the truth. So coming back here, and it's subtle, and it feels right or good or aligned or something. There's like and just coming into yourself, and you don't have to question it and question it and question it. It's just a knowing, like, oh, right, okay, so I'm going to do that next, and that feels good and that feels right. And let me tell you, this takes practice. So please be patient with yourself and kind, and give yourself a ton of grace. You deserve that. You deserve that after living in a world where your whole life has just been conditioning, fear, 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 fear. And the ego mind wants to have a place. It wants to be relevant. It wants to keep you in fear so that you keep going to it to try to sort things out. And it's not going to happen there. We can use the mind again for good, and how it's meant to be used. But circling around in fear stories is not the way. I mean, you can do that. You can absolutely choose to do that. But it's just going to create more suffering. So it's up to you. In every moment you can choose. Do I want to suffer? Or do I want to come back to my soul, my truth? What I know is it's here. It's your soul. It's here for you. It's right here. It takes practice, though. I'm not saying it's easy, because there are times where it is not easy, but you just keep going and you have faith. You have faith. Okay, sending you all so much love.